What's going on, guys? It is Frankie here. Can you believe it? It is already week 6 in the 2022 NFL season. Our picks this year have been okay, but we are here to turn it up a notch. We are here to take it to the next level. Let's start with our picks for week 6 in the 2022 NFL season. Let's start with the Thursday night game. This game is trash. Washington Bears. If you thought Colts Broncos was awful, this is even worse. So I'll probably be watching playoff baseball. Watch playoff baseball on Thursday night instead of watching this. Just whatever. I'll take the Bears. Whatever. Let's move on to the real games. The San Francisco 49ers and the Atlanta Falcons. The Niners are 6-point favorites. The Niners with a pretty convincing win against Carolina, even though it is Carolina. But they've lost a lot of guys on injury. They have had a lot of injuries with this team. They lost Nick Bosa during yesterday's game, and he's obviously been the best player of this great defense. But with all of these injuries that are just piling up for San Francisco, eventually it's got to come crashing down just a little bit here. And I still think they're going to win this game because I still think they're a far better team than Atlanta. But I can see this game being a game that Atlanta covers. It's 6 points at home, and Atlanta still hung on against Tampa Bay. They were one weird roughing the passer penalty away from being in contention against Tampa Bay in that game. And they did it yesterday. They did it yesterday without Kyle Pitts and without Cordell Patterson. And they looked much better yesterday in the running game. So, they did a nice job of giving the ball to Alger and Huntley and Williams. They did a nice job of getting those guys involved. So, I think the Niners are going to win this game because they're obviously much more talented. And they still do have a lot of good guys on that defense. But with all the injuries that are piling up here with Atlanta at home, I'm going to roll with Atlanta. 6 points at home. I think the Falcons lose this one by 4 or 3, but it's enough to cover. Give me the Falcons plus 6. The New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 3-point favorites. I had to double check this just to make sure. I was like, wait, the Browns are 3-point favorites? Because I don't really... I guess it does make sense considering that Mac Jones we don't think he's going to play. Patriots have a backup quarterback. They did crush the Lions yesterday, even though I'm not sure that's that impressive. Bailey Zappi with his first start. And he looked good there, but it was really thanks on the heels of that defense that New England was able to come through yesterday. They had 6 stops on 4th down, interception, a strip sack. Zappi, what do you have? 17 for 21, 188 yards, touchdown, interception. Not great, not terrible. He did a solid job. Browns had the classic Browns performance yesterday where the Chargers are giving them the game away. They're making a stupid play call in 4th and 1 from their own 48-yard line. They have a chance to kick it and to win the game, and they miss. Classic Cleveland Browns football. So, yeah, now that I think about it more, it does make sense why. Again, New England's got a 13 quarterback. But Cleveland, 3 points. It's been a rocky season here for Cleveland, but Jacoby Brissett actually looked good yesterday, with the exception of the terrible interception he had late. And yeah, whatever, they still won, or they still lost. It doesn't matter. Give me the Browns. That's really what I take away from this game. This game really doesn't mean that much to me right now. But I'm going to take the Browns. 3 points at home. I think Cleveland covers and wins. Give me the Browns -3. The New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 7.5-point favorites. I cannot believe that both local teams in New York, and yeah, I know Bills fans. I know it's a different story, but both local teams, Jets and Giants, both tri-state area teams, are both over 500, which has not happened in 7 years. It has been a long time coming for the local teams here. And here in this game, the last couple weeks, you can blame it on schedule, whatever, but they're figuring it out. And the Jets, what a win that was yesterday. A running performance. Wilson played well. Defense stepped up. 40 points on Miami. That was their first win in the division in 12 games. So that was a beginning to end beatdown of the Dolphins. And yes, I know the Dolphins are on the 3rd string quarterback, but whatever. So I'm really happy with the way the Jets have been playing so far. And I know it's going to come to a crashing halt eventually. But, God, I feel so good about the direction of both of these teams going. But here, for the Jets now, they look good. And Green Bay lost yesterday to the Giants, the other local team in New York. And it's just something's not clicking right now. Something is really just... The deep threat is not working as usual with Rodgers and his guys. Rodgers was 0 for 5 on attempts of 20 or more yards in the air yesterday, including 0 for 4 in the second half. It's just... And the Giants, the Packers lost to a team that was playing without their top 3 wide receivers. So yeah, they're just making stupid penalties on defense. They're not figuring it out. So the Giants scored on 5 straight drives yesterday. So yeah, Green Bay's defense has issues and their offense struggles. I think Green Bay will win this game, but I think the Jets cover. That is where I'm leaning on here. I still think Green Bay, because they are a talented bunch still. They still have Rodgers. I think they'll pull it off. But I can really see, and maybe it's stupid for me to bet on the Jets already. Maybe it's stupid for me to already believe in this Jets team. But you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. 7.5 points. I think the Jets cover. I really do. I think it's not a win, but they keep it close against Green Bay. They figure out a way to hang in there. I think the running attack gets to Packers defense, and I think the Jets make it like 3-4 points. I think Wilson will ball out, but it won't be enough to stop Green Bay to win, but it will be enough to cover the spread here. On the road, I'm loving the Jets. Give me New York plus 7.5. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are 1.5 point favorites. Both of these teams were involved in the worst games of week 5. Jacksonville played a trash game against Houston. Trevor Lawrence, back-to-back bad performances. We went from thinking, oh wow, he's really stepped up. The Urban Meyer is behind him. He's really turned the corner, and now they've gone from that to a little bit. So again, Lawrence is one of the biggest reasons he doesn't look great. They're not forcing turnovers like they are. They've only forced one in the last 2 games after being so great in the first 3 weeks. Forcing, I think, 8. Now they've only gotten 1 in the last 2. The defense is lowing a little bit. Colts won that game against Denver, and they did it on the strength of their defense, really. They were able to shut down Wilson and company. But their offensive line is god-awful at this point. They need to figure out a way there to get something going. Indianapolis is also not allowed any points in the fourth quarter or overtime in its first 5 games. So they've really stepped up in that regard. So I'm gonna take Indianapolis. I'm wondering which Jacksonville team am I gonna get, which Trevor Lawrence am I gonna get here in this spot. But for this game, I'm gonna take Indianapolis. I think they are. I think the defense. If Lawrence has had problems the last 2 weeks, I think we'll see even more of them here in this game with the Colts defense being as elite as they are. And I think the Colts get a win. I don't know if either one of these teams is is Super Bowl or playoff contenders right now, but I think. AFC South division matchup. I think there'll be some intensity to it, but I think the Colts get the win. 1.5. Yeah, so it's not enough for me to take Jacksonville to cover, unless I think they're going to win. But I'm going to roll with the Colts. Give me the Colts minus 1.5. The Minnesota Vikings and the Miami Dolphins. The Vikings are 3-point favorites. I was actually about to pick Miami here before we did this video. I was actually going to pick Miami, and then I really had to question myself of what am I doing. We don't even know who Miami's quarterback is going to be. Their top 2 quarterbacks are both in concussion protocol. They have a third stringer running around there. They might put Tua in there just because they're like, we desperately need a win. His back injury is fine. Bridgewater. So I have no idea who Miami's guy is going to be. And I know Miami's at home, but I just have no faith in whoever they're starting right now. But we have to figure it out. Are you gonna have Thompson be the quarterback? Is it Reed Sinnett, or are you gonna go to Bridgewater? There's too many questions. Too many question marks surrounding this team. It's only Monday. Maybe if I made this pick on Thursday or Friday, I feel more comfortable about it, but it is only Monday, so I'm going to have to take the safe bet and go up Minnesota, a team that at least has a starting quarterback. Now, it's weird for me to trust Kirk Cousins, as I've said many times before, but he's definitely stepped up. He's definitely been maybe the biggest reason why they're 4-1. He's made all the big plays. He's come through a lot. All the Vikings' victories so far is required him to make some big throws in the fourth quarter, and he's done that. He converted a couple third downs yesterday. He completed his first 17 passes of the game, team record. So, hey, Vikings are 4-1. They're top the NFC North. They aren't. It's not easy sometimes. They had a 21-3 lead and they let Chicago come almost all the way back. So it's never easy when it's the Vikings. But right now they are the more stable. They are the more stable team. So a 3-point game on the road against a team that could be down to their third or fourth string quarterback by the time Sunday rolls around. I think it's just safe to bet the Vikings. 3 points on the road again. Maybe if it's Thursday or Friday, you go with Miami. But in this spot, we have too many unanswerables with Miami. So give me the Vikings, -3. The Cincinnati Bengals and the New Orleans Saints. The Bengals are 1.5 favorites. Bengals, that was a tough loss yesterday. Yeah, they were without T Higgins, but still they couldn't really get the ball downfield. They had Baltimore allowed 30 completions of 11 more yards entering Sunday, and Cincinnati only did that 4 times yesterday. So Cincinnati was famous last year for their big offense, their big play offense, and we have not seen it at all. Their defense has really stepped up, but their offense, for some reason, People are starting to figure it out. I don't know what it is, but the offense is not clicking the way it normally does. Even though I do think they're going to win this game, because the Saints, credit to the Saints, they got the win. Taysom Hill figured it out yesterday, making plays with his arm and his leg the way he normally does. 112. He ran for 112 yards. He had 3 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. He joins Archie Manning. He's the only other player to do that in Saints history. So the Saints, again, they have it. They have what it takes to be able to do it on offense. It's just never consistent enough. It's just never. They always show glimpses of their offensive potential, and then they always fall back. I don't know if they're going to go back to Andy Dalton. I don't know if James is going to come back here. But are they just decide, you know what, bring in Taysom? There's question marks there. Cincinnati, I believe, is too talented to still be lying on the canvas like this. So I think Cincinnati bounces back here in this spot. It's a 1.5, so I'm not going to risk it taking New Orleans. I like the Bengals here in this spot. I like them in this situation. It's a 1.5. I'm taking the Bengals. Give me the Bengals minus 1.5. The Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants. The Ravens are 6-point favorites. Baltimore with a clutch drive late. After Lamar really struggled for most of this game, he came through in the biggest spot. Made a couple. He ran 4 times for 31 yards on that final drive, setting up the game-winning field goal by Justin Tucker. But it was a mediocre Lamar performance. They've lost 2 or more leads of 17 points in their first 2 home games, and then they almost blew this one. So they're not a team that really seals the deal when they need to. So the Ravens have issues. I'm still picking them to win this game, though, but I do want to give all the credit in the world to the New York Giants and what they've been able to do. This is something that I certainly did not have heading into the year, the Giants being 4-1. They may be the worst 4-1 team in NFL history. I know that. I'm not sure they're any good. But, man, they pull out big wins here. Against Green Bay, they come back from down 14. Jones was not 100%, and yet he's got no receivers at all, and Jones still was able to find a way to be tough, to be able to be determined and get that win. 13 for 14 passing, 136 yards in the second half, 7 carries for 37 yards. This is a team right now with Marcus Johnson, Richie James, David Sills, Darius Slayton as your wide receiver. And the Giants, and somehow they won. So I don't know if Brian Daboll has solved every problem. I still don't know if I 100% trust Daniel Jones to be like, here, let's give him a 5-year contract. But he looks good right now. That's all that matters. I don't know what he's going to look like in the future, but right now he looks darn good for this team. And Saquon looks excellent. The defense has really stepped up. Wink Martindale deserves a bunch of credit for that. So I'm really happy with the way the Giants are looking. But I think the positive vibes. I would, if they were able to pull this one off against the Ravens, oh my gosh, I would be over the moon. But I can't totally go that far yet. It's still Baltimore, it's still Lamar, it's still got all these places on there. So I'm going to go with the Ravens minus 6. I pray the Giants are able to think of something here. But for now, I'm going to roll with the Ravens. But God, I hope I'm wrong. Give me the Ravens minus 6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Buccaneers are 8.5-point favorites here on the road. An ugly victory, but that's been most of Tampa Bay's victories this year. They have been very, very unimpressive. They've tried, but it's just, whether it's injuries on the offensive side, and there have been a lot of it now, and now they're losing Julio Jones. It's just, there have been so many problems and injuries, and they're giving up huge plays on the rushing side. The run defense is giving up so many big plays. They did get the win yesterday, even though all the talk about it was the stupid call at the end of the game, stupid roughing the passer call. But Tampa, they're still winning. It's just right now you look at them like, this is really a Super Bowl contender? Not yet. At least we haven't seen it yet. Pittsburgh is just, oof. This looks like it's just a lost season for Pittsburgh. But we knew this. This was a rebuilding year. They lost Big Ben. This was a rebuilding year for Pittsburgh. And it's certainly shown that way. If there's any chance for Tampa to get back into the swing of things, to show they are a former Super Bowl champion just a few years ago, show that Tom Brady still got it, all those things, this is the chance to do it. Pittsburgh looks just anemic. Kenny Pickett, it was his first start, but he really couldn't do much in that spot. They're missing T.J. Watt. They're missing a bunch of guys on defense. This is the time for the Buccaneers to show that they're still a good team. So this is if you want to show Tampa, all right, that was early season jitters. We're back now. This is the chance to do it. So 8.5 points on the road. I think Tampa comes through and wins this by at least 14 over Pittsburgh. I think they bounce back and deliver. Give me the Buccaneers minus 8.5. The Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 9.5-point favorites. I think I've come to the conclusion that the Panthers might be the worst team in football. I know I've stepped with the Texans, but the Texans got to win yesterday, so whatever. I think I got to go back to the Rams. Or I'm sorry, I think I got to lean towards Carolina here, maybe being the worst team. Baker is bad, man. And I know the Browns got a lot of criticism for trading for Deshaun Watson, but looking back on it now, maybe that was the right decision. Even though Deshaun Watson's a terrible person, allegedly. Baker just looks... I don't know what happened, but he does not look like the same quarterback. He doesn't have any confidence, it looks like. Just makes so many dumb mistakes. It's now looking at the possibility they may have to bench him for Sam Darnold. Matt Rule, it looks like his job is cooked eventually if the Panthers keep playing like this. And the Rams, on the other hand... But the Rams are also struggling too. And also for Carolina, what were they on third down? They're like they were 3 for 15 on third down yesterday. So yeah, just nothing is going well. And the Niners converted 7 of their first 11 third downs. And then the Rams, they also are struggling. They have a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball, but they're much better than Carolina, it looks like. And thankfully, the one thing that's keeping up the Rams is the defense. Even though the offense is having a bunch of issues, Stafford got sacked and fumbled yesterday. Stafford sacked 5 times. He's been sacked 21 times this year. So the offensive line is becoming an issue here for the Rams. They still have their defense that is really, really stepping up. And I think the Rams are going to be fine there in that regard. But yeah, in this spot here, I think the Rams will win this. They'll bounce back. They'll deliver. They'll come in and they'll win this one by at least 14 because Carolina is just that bad. So give me the Rams minus 9.5. But God, Carolina, I was not expecting this out of Baker Mayfield. Was not expecting this at all. I'm surprised how bad he's been. Give me the Rams minus 9.5. The Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals are 2.5-point favorites. Arizona was not able to end Philadelphia's perfect season. Once again, Cardinals had a game where they struggled coming out of the gate. This happens. They did not score in the first quarter for the 6th straight game. That includes all 5 this year and then last game of last year. It's just... There's something not clicking here. There's something not clicking. If there's a time to do it, this is the time. Because Seattle's awful, just awful. Their defense is a joke. Geno Smith, and my God, I did not think that I was going to look at Seattle and go, man, Geno Smith's really carrying this team. But Geno's been good. Geno had, like, heading into yesterday, he had the top completion percentage of anybody. I guess that's around the same place here today. He's not been the problem. It's the defense right now that's really struggling for Seattle. They allowed... 100 rushing yards to Hill and Kamara. They allowed over 100 yards for both of them. So their defense right now is really what's killing them. Hope that Kenneth Walker is able to step up as a running back now that Rashad Penny's out. But yeah, for this spot, Arizona, even though, again, if there's a time to score in the first quarter, it's now. If there's time to step up, it's now. I think they will here in this game because Seattle's defense is like Swiss cheese. And I think Arizona wins this one pretty convincingly on the road. Give me the Cardinals minus 2.5. Oh boy, Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills are 2-point favorites. Man, this game is always fun. When these two teams face, I mean, we know how good they were last year in the postseason, but this is going to be fun. I'm shocked it's only the 4:25 game. This should be like a Sunday night game considering how great this game was last year. The controversy around the overtime rule and all that. Changing the overtime rule for this year, at least in the postseason. Buffalo, I would say Buffalo's the best team in football. We say this every week, but it's really convincing. Right now, they're clearly the best team in football. No matter who they face in their way, I know they have a loss, but no matter who you put in their way, it seems like they are just in complete control. What did Allen do for 348 yards in the first half? He ended with 424. He's got people out on both sides. Doesn't matter. They make so many big plays. So many. Gabe Davis with the catch of the year yesterday. They came into week 5 with 13 passing plays of 20 or more yards, and I think they had 8 by the end of the game. They are an insane team. They are an insanely good offensive team. Kansas City has definitely shown. Kansas City's coming off a bye week. Kansas City will be playing tonight against the Raiders, so we'll have a full detail of what Kansas City will be tonight against the Raiders. They are coming off a victory against Tampa Bay. They have shown that they don't need Tyreek Hill. It's fine. Mahomes is Mahomes still. So without seeing what they were going to do tonight against the Raiders, I'm still going to take Buffalo. Despite how much I love Kansas City and love Mahomes and all that, and love the offensive firepower this team displays on a nearly weekly basis, it's Buffalo's league right now. It just seems like it's Buffalo's time. Now, we're 5 weeks in. A lot could change in the next 12, 15 weeks. But for right now, it just looks like it's Buffalo's time. It looks like they have all the offensive firepower they need. And it just looks like Josh Allen is taking it to a whole nother level. He was the MVP right now. there's a lot of guys who are playing well. Mahomes, obviously. Lamar. Jalen Hurts has really made his case. But right now, the MVP is Allen until otherwise. And I think this game will continue to show why he is the MVP. Give me the Bills, -2. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 5-point favorites. How about Dallas, man? This is weird. We all wrote them off after week 1. At least I did. I'm like, oh gosh, Cooper Rush. Dak's gone for who knows how long. It's going to be a rough fight. And Dallas is winning and hanging in there. 4 straight wins. They defeated the defending AFC champions, and now they defeated the Super Bowl champions. They also beat the Giants, who aren't that bad. Or at least, they're the worst 4-1 team of all time, but they're still 4-1. It's really the defense, which is making so many big plays. A great touchdown they had yesterday on the fumble. They've allowed only 1 touchdown in 5 straight games. They shut down Stafford. So it's not really Cooper Rush. Like a couple years ago when Tony Romo went out, Dak was kind of the reason why Dallas was stepping up. Dak and Zeke. This is mostly Cooper Rush is fine, but I don't think anyone's talking about should Dallas move Cooper Rush for Dak, replace Dak with Cooper Rush. Even though I'm sure that's going to be all over first take today. But really, what's come down to is the fact that Dallas' defense is unbelievable. They step up week after week after week after week after week. But they have a really tough spot here. The Eagles are probably the best team in the NFC. I think we've seen that here in the first 5 weeks. Jalen Hurts looks terrific. He rushed for a pair of touchdowns yesterday. The offensive line is going to be the thing that hurts this team. Melita, Landon Dixon, Jason Kelsey are all hurt. Isaiah Samuno, limited with an ankle injury. So the offensive line's got to step up here. I think Dallas wins this game, but I think Dallas covers. 5 points. I'm rolling the Cooper Rush train. I think with these divisional matchups, weird, crazy things happen. And so here on Sunday night, in a prime, big game, I think Dallas covers. Again, 5 points. I can see Dallas losing this game by 4 or 3. But I can see Philadelphia winning. Philadelphia, again, we've talked this. I don't think Philadelphia's going to go 17-0. But I think it's not going to be this week. Sometime in the future it'll happen, but I don't think it's going to be this game yet. But who knows? If Dallas' defense plays like it has the last couple weeks, then things will change. But this is the best defense that Dallas' defense has played all year. This is the best offense that Dallas' defense has faced this year. So if there's any chance if we really want to see how good the Dallas defense are, this is the time to do it against a Philadelphia team like this. But I do think Dallas covers. Not a win, but they cover. Give me the Cowboys, +5. The Monday night game, the Let's Ride Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers, who are making stupid decisions like going for it, 4th and 1 on their own 46. I'll just say some of those Chargers. I hate Denver. I hate watching Denver. I hate stupid Let's Ride. I didn't really hate Russell Wilson, despite how corny he was. But gosh, he's been so bad, and the Let's Ride act is so annoying at this point. Shut up. No Bronco fan wants to hear that. That was a waste of time on Thursday night. That was awful. I don't know why I was watching that. Oh yeah, because there was nothing on. There was no baseball that night. That's why I was watching. But yeah, it looks like Denver got Russell Wilson at the wrong time. It looks like he's. Also, I've noticed this. Richard Sherman does not seem to like Russell Wilson. I don't know if that's hangover from the Super Bowl or that he wasn't cool in the locker room, but it seems like a lot of Seattle teammates just did not like Russell Wilson. That's the thing I've noticed, but he's a weird guy. That certainly is. I mean, he's certainly a cringe guy if you look at him. If you watch him talk. I don't really hate him as a person. I just think he's weird. But that was an awful loss on Thursday. Wilson hasn't looked good, and they haven't protected him well enough in fairness, but I got to roll Chargers, even though, Chargers were giving that game away. Brandon Staley with another questionable coaching decision there late. But they still have the talent on offense, and they look better on the running game. They 238 yards rushing. So Austin Eckler and company looks really good. The running game is really solid. And if they can keep that up, because they've struggled with the running game, if they can the running game continue the way they did against Cleveland, if they can continue that, they will definitely they'll definitely look so much better, and I think they'll definitely cover the spread here. But I think they'll cover the spread anyway because Denver's offense looks just dead at this point. Give me the Chargers -6.5. I think in a division game at home like this, I think the Chargers step up, and Denver does not. Give me the Chargers -6.5. That's it for now, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to this channel and you'd like to see, make sure you subscribe down below. I'll be back later this week with more NFL videos. I'll probably have some baseball stuff. Check over to Frankie Baseball. We'll have baseball stuff all this week as the Yankees get ready to take on the Guardians in the ALDS. And I'm sure we'll have some basketball stuff as that happens here coming up soon. So a lot of big stuff on this channel, and hope to see you guys there. Take care, and God bless.